What the fuck? Hey guys, it's Kerry around my review for The Flash, Season 2, episode, I believe, 15. I think that was the episode. I'm gonna check that real quick because I don't. Yes, 15, I am correct. Okay, I don't want to get that wrong. King Shark, let's just get to this episode. Oh my god, I mean, I don't know how to move on from that twist. I really don't. I'm gonna try to talk about this episode without just talking about that twist, because I know you guys want me to get that. I will get to it. I will get to it, but let me just say, this was by far the perfect time for the Flash to go on hiatus. I mean, after a twist like that, this is the twist we should have gotten in the mid-season finale, because like I said, there really wasn't much of one. We really didn't get much of a twist there, which I was fine with, but after this, I kind of wanted it. But I do like what they did here, and I'll explain that. But let's get in this episode. Overall, I thought this episode was good. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was good. Definitely not as good as the past two. And there were some things here that I felt were very random. In fact, I thought a lot of the things in this episode were very random. There were some very strong scenes this episode, but a lot of it was just, it was good. It was good. Although Wally West was back, unfortunately, and there was a lot going on with him. But let's just get in this episode because I want to get to the stuff I like, stuff I didn't like. Let's just get to it. We start off last week, right where last week left off, with Caitlin. She's completely in denial that Jay is dead, standing in front of the speed cannon, and, she doesn't want to believe that he's gone. And because, obviously he's in Earth 2, she just doesn't want to believe it. And the rest of the team stands in by in disbelief. You have to feel bad for Caitlin because she's just lost Ronnie, and now she could have possibly lost Jay. Now, we don't know if he's dead or not. We don't. Let's make that clear. A lot of people are saying, oh, Jay's dead. We don't know if he's dead or not. No, so I'm going to say that. So Barry as Wells to open the breach to Earth 2 so he can go back, but Wells said that there's no way to reopen them. They need to find a way, but right now it seems like there's not really a way. And Jesse, meanwhile, is upset that they can't go home. The rest of the team's up there is nothing they can do, but Barry stalks off, determined. He wants to do whatever he can to find a way. And I like seeing Jesse part of the team, I have to say. Something I think they've done very well with this set up the dynamic between Wells and Jesse. What they could have done was make this very disappointing, is have, Jesse just not be that interesting of a character, but luckily Jesse was, I think, a great character. I really loved, Jessie as a character in this episode. I like seeing her part of the team. I want to see her stick. I think her and Wells, you really see that father-daughter dynamic that they have, and I just really am enjoying what she's doing. And I like that she doesn't necessarily want to be part of the team, because she kind of has her own life, but she's kind of forced to. One, because the breach is closed. Two, she's not going to leave Wells. I mean, she's been separated from him. That's enough a reason for her to stay, and now they kind of have no choice, though. But basically, I like the way that was done. However, I think the best things about this episode was was all the, aftermath of Earth 2. That was something that I thought was really well done this episode. Honestly, I feel the entire episode should have been that, because all that stuff was great. We see Cisco's examining his vibe shades, and, I'm hearing some really interesting stuff they're going with Cisco. It seems like they're going this direction where Cisco is haunted by Revibe, and he's worried that he's going to become, Reverb, and he's worried that he's going to become like Reverb because, Reverb told him that his powers are very dangerous, and Cisco definitely is starting to tap into that a bit more, which is very interesting. And Caitlin sleeps, she refused to go home, and they're very worried about her because if you remember, the main motivation for Killer Frost was the fact that, her husband died, and because of that she had this lust for killing and everything, and they're worried that Caitlyn is going to become the same way. That's what's going to happen to her, is that she's going to become like Killer Frost, and they don't want that to happen to her, obviously. So Wells says that she's strong and will be fine. He tells them not to tell Caitlyn because, they don't want her to turn to Killer Frost, because that's one of the reasons that, well, I feel like Killer Frost, she had she wanted to kill anyway. We don't really know what the full reason is for Killer Frost yet, but we do know, though, that once Ronnie died, she was in full-on killing mode. So Joe and Iris talk about their lives on Earth 2, since it's better not to influence their lives. Not tell Caitlin, Joe, and Iris their lives on Earth 2, since it's better not to influence their lives in any way. They shouldn't be, because it's way different there. It's just a different time period. They shouldn't do that. It's not a good idea to do. And flash forward a while, as Barry explains to the audience that they tried their best to forget about Earth 2, and I thought this time jump was good, but I didn't really want it. I really wanted a lot of this episode to be people's reactions, and we see that they're trying their best to forget about Earth 2 and adjust the new circumstances. Caitlin, though, is still working on the Velocity Serum and keeps Jay's helmet on her desk, which I think right now that's just her hope that he is alive and that he's out there, and she wants to believe that she can give him back that helmet when she sees him again. I mean, it's kind of sad because you don't know if you're going to see her again, but in the back of our minds, we're thinking, okay, we probably will. I mean, I definitely really liked where that's headed. So at an aquarium, a team of guards are trying to feed King Shark. When it doesn't come get the food, they turn off the electronic security to look for him. And I have to say, King Shark in general, it was fun. It was fun. And I like they didn't take it too seriously. And Diggle and Lyla, I think, did work well in this episode. Elsewhere, Diggle and Lyla are flirting, talking about Lila's new role as the head of Argus. Because now that, Amanda Waller's dead, obviously Lila's going to take over. And she's now the head of Argus. An alarm goes off. They run to the aquarium to see King Shark chowing down a guard. He runs off rather than confront him. And, I don't know. This whole part of the episode, it just didn't work as well. I like Diggle and Barry. I like that. I like Diggle and Lyla. Just for me personally, I don't really know why this was the time to do this. To me, this should have been earlier in the season. I don't really think now is the time to go into this. It didn't really work for me. It's kind of like All-Star Team Up, which in hindsight, I think had more to do with the story than this did. This kind of just felt like a random thing. Like they're just trying to get over this whole situation where they're trying to move away from it, and they just gave us something random so that way we don't have to hear about Earth 2, which I thought was honestly really dumb that they did that. I was not a fan of them just completely, oh, let's forget about Earth 2. I thought that was actually very stupid that they did that. I don't understand why they just completely were just like, let's not talk about Earth 2. That just didn't really make a lot of sense to me at all. So yeah, I was not a fan of King Shark, I have to say. However, it's not the worst aspect of this episode, because then we get to, at home, Barry's playing family games with the West. Wally leaves to go see some friends. The other two ask Barry what's going on. Barry tries to wave it off, saying that Wally doesn't like him too much, but the West just tell Barry he has to get to know him. And I don't like Wally. I don't like him. He's annoying. He's just full of teen angst. This is the character. He's teen angst. And you guys know teen angst. Yes, teenagers are like this, but Wally is just so intolerable, honestly. I've tried to put up with this character. He was almost intolerable in this episode. There were times where I'm just like, I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. It's not the actor. I think the actor who's playing Wally isn't very good. I definitely will say that. The actor's not good. Nothing against, him. I think he could definitely get better, but this role, man, you guys, this is not the direction to take Wally West, and especially since he's supposed to become an ally of Barry's. Right now, it's not working. I get that they're trying to stretch this out, but right now, it's not working for me at all, really, I have to say. So, Barry excuses himself to go to bed. Joe and Iris wonder what happened on Earth 2, because he's being very weird with them, and it makes sense, obviously. His dynamic with them was now completely different, and the way he sees them, he's gonna see them as their Earth 2 counterparts, and he doesn't want what happened on Earth 1 to happen, that happened on Earth 2 to happen on Earth 1, because I kind of feel like Earth 2 is a symbol of what's to come for especially Barry and Iris. We know they're going to get together. It's in the comics. Okay, it's not really much of a spoiler. You guys probably knew that, going into the show. Well, going in the season, at least, I heard they're going to do more of Barry and Iris. They're going to get together. They're probably going to get married at some point, and that's going to change up Barry's dynamic with Joe significantly. So, Barry's obviously very worried about what's going to happen there, and he really wants to, he really wants things to go well. So at Star Labs, Kaylin's back in antisocial mode when Cisco tries to encourage her, and she's not really talking at all. Cisco tells Barry after she leaves he's worried about her becoming Killer Frost, but before they can finish the conversation, Diggle and Lyla show up to warn him King Shark is coming to kill the Flash, and Barry decides he's going after King Shark before King Shark comes to them, and that he's going to do himself rather than waiting for Argus. He's going to go to the waterfront while Argus takes the rest of the city, and I understand why Barry wants to do this alone, but he has so much other stuff to deal with. I mean, this just felt like this could have easily been like an Arrow episode. It really could have been. Diggle says his helmet could use some work. Cisco says that he'll get on it, and as we know, they are making a new helmet, and meanwhile, Joe calls, tells Barry he has to come help Wally with a project tonight, so you already see that Barry has a million things going on in his life, between trying to open up a breaches, helping Wally with this project, and now taking down King Shark. I mean, it's just too much, and, between everything that happened on Earth 2, it's just way too much. So, at, Nautilus Labs, Cisco and Kaylin meet up with the widow of King Shark's Earth 1 doppelganger, who was killed by the particle accelerator explosion. They ask her for her findings on sharks, and Kaylin is short and rude and eventually asks Cisco why he's been different to her since Earth 2, because obviously he's acting weird. And remember, she doesn't know what happened on Earth 2, so she doesn't know really what's going on there, and At the waterfront, Diggle tries to talk Barry out of carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders like Oliver did, because that's what Oliver does. He wants to do things alone, and he's worried that Barry's doing the same thing. If you notice this season, every time Oliver tries to do something on his own, it really does not work. So Diggle, knowing that, doesn't want Barry to turn out that way, and he says, look, you really do need a team, and you can't just take things on your own. You really need a team here, and you need us to help you, because he knows this is not really gonna, this is not really gonna work. I have to say, though, the King Shark really did feel like something out of, like, a sci-fi movie, and they took it seriously, but, they didn't take it too seriously, but they took it seriously, and I kind of feel like they should have just had fun with it, and they really didn't. I mean, when you have something like King Shark, you can really have fun with it. I don't really think they fully utilized it here. They honestly took it, I think, a bit too seriously, and I really would have wanted them to take it, just go a little bit more over the top. It's stupid. It's King Shark. There's so much silly stuff you can do with it, and the episode, I don't really think, realized it. So King Shark arrives, kills a couple of Argus agents. Later, Diggle and Lyla lament the fact that King Shark got away, and nobody can seem to find him, and Barry has to excuse himself to go spend time with Wally, and Barry then takes a look at Wally's application for an engineering program. It's for turbine-powered cars. Barry starts offering him some fairly harsh constructive criticism, but Wally quickly gets offended, which I don't think was bad. I think he's just telling, he's just very blunt. He's telling him, look, this is not a good idea. It's not going to work. I definitely think that it wasn't anything that bad. I don't really think that Barry said anything. And Wally just goes extremely, I mean, what he said, I understand some of the things that he said, but some of the stuff was completely unnecessary, I have to say. Like, how, when Wally, basically how, Wally quickly gets offended, everyone starts giving Barry looks, you ever start over, go over it together with Wally. I mean, it was ridiculous. I really thought this was stupid. So, at Star Labs, Caitlin isn't impressed by the shark research from Natalis, but when Cisco offers to help her, she gets upset. Ultimately, in the course of their conversation, Cisco does tell her about Killer Frost, which I was worried he was going to keep it from her. I'm like, please don't do this. It's not in his character. But luckily, he doesn't keep it from her. He does, in fact, tell her. She tells him that she's only being cold and distant because she has a coping mechanism. She has to, as a coping mechanism right now, and she says she wants to focus on work and how to find King Shark, and that's her main work. She doesn't really want to think about Jay right now. She's trying to focus on other things. That way, she doesn't have to, that way she doesn't grieve and she doesn't get upset, and she just wants to be very just by yourself, which is, I think, a good way to get over something. Just be by yourself for a couple of days or hours or however long you need. Some people just need that, and that's something that Caitlin needs. She just needs to be by herself. I don't think that's a problem, and I like that she told him that, because obviously he was really worried about her, and I like that she said that you don't need to worry about me, I just need to be by myself. I thought that was really good. You really do see the friendship between these two, and I like the direction they took this in. I was a bit worried, but I think they put this in the right direction, definitely. So at the West, Wally and Barry we then see that elsewhere Wells is working on the whiteboard when Jesse comes in, helps him figure out some variables in his search for King Shark, and there's a lot of animosity between these two, obviously because they haven't seen each other for a while, but Jesse also really doesn't want to be there, and she really doesn't know how they're going to take down King Shark, why they're still there, if there's a way to open the breach. I mean, you can really see that Jesse just doesn't really want to do this, even though Wells wants to. She's not going to say no because this is her dad, and she loves her dad. She loves her dad, so she's not going to say no. It really sucks, though, because she doesn't want to be there, but I like the direction they're taking her, and it really does seem like, she does care about her dad. She just kind of wants to do her own thing, and I hope they give more character to Jessie, because I like where they're headed with her, and I'm glad we're actually seeing her now. I didn't think we were going to see her after last week's episode, and luckily we are, so that's really good. So at the West, Wally and Barry are working on the project together. Wally gets annoyed that Barry seems to be trying to do it for him. He's upset that the West think Barry's perfect and bails on working together. Now, I will say, he had points, definitely, on how he's not perfect and things like that, and he is flawed, and at no point did Joe and Iris ever say that he's perfect. They never said that Barry's perfect. They just said that Barry is very experienced in what he does. I never heard them use the word perfect. I don't know where Wally came up with the idea that he was perfect, but I like that Barry did kind of realize, what he's trying to say, maybe tries to take a step back a little bit. Yes, he was being a bit too harsh, but Wally just took it to the extreme, and I really did not like this. I'm sorry, I don't like Wally West. I wish I did. I just don't like him, and there's really not much you can do with me to like Wally West. It doesn't really work for me. I have to say, this character is not working. So just then, King Shark pounds through the wall of the house looking for the Flash. Joe sends the family away, takes a few shots at King Shark with his gun to distract from Barry sneaking outside to change. Barry tells King Shark there's no way for him to get back to Earth 2, that the breaches are closed. But before he can do anything to take King Shark into custody, he's tossed aside. King Shark tells him that even the Flash can't catch him in water and makes his escape. And back at home, Wally's confused as to why the family took all of that crazy in stride. He also attacks Barry when he comes back downstairs, calling him a coward for hiding out. And when Wally storms out, now, he is not a coward. If anything, Barry's a coward. Barry wanted to take on King Shark on his own. I mean, you have literally no right to call him a coward. Wally, you've done absolutely nothing. You have no idea what Barry's job is. I mean, you literally know nothing. So when Wally storms out, Joe demands answers, and I like that Barry told him about what happened to her, too. For me, this was by far my favorite scene in the episode, besides the reveal, obviously. I'm talking about regular scenes. This was my favorite scene. He tells him it was impossible not to get emotionally sucked in, because even though it's not his world, it's still real, and he's responsible for Joe's death on Earth 2. He feels terrible that he left Earth 2 at Zoom's mercy when the breaches were closed, and Iris is a bit confused as to why they're together. You know, she knows that they're together, and it's very interesting. It really changed up the dynamic. I mean, he really doesn't know how to get back to that dynamic he has on Earth 1, because things are so different on Earth 2, and he needs to still adjust to it, and that's understandable. I mean, imagine if you were to go to a completely alternate universe, you know, just imagine me. I don't know what I'd be like in alternate universe. I probably wouldn't be like this. I tell you guys that right now. I probably wouldn't be like this. I don't know how I'd be. But on Earth 2, things are just so much different. And imagine meeting everyone you know on Earth 2. I mean, I can only imagine. I'm just thinking about people I know on Earth 2, and I can't really think about how they'd be, because I don't know, obviously. Earth 2 is so different. I mean, there's so many differences about it. But we did see that it's kind of the future. It's kind of what, you know, could happen, everyone, like I said, and I'm hoping that that doesn't mean that that Joe might die. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll have to see what happens there, because that definitely is very interesting. Barry getting over that. I'm sure he'll get over it at some point, but right now it's really taking a toll on him. So back at Star Labs, they speculate that King Shark can sense the electricity in Barry's system, and that they can essentially use that ability to track him back. And that night they set up an electric beacon to mimic the Flash's bioelectric field and lure the shark, and it's not working right away. And while they're waiting for him to show up, Barry says he's been running away from things instead of toward them lately, and that needs to change. And that's true. He's really been not doing a lot with Zoom. He's been running away from him. He's been, trying to focus on other things, and that makes sense why this season hasn't done a lot with Zoom. I think that kind of shows this is why this has gone this way, because, yeah, Reverse Flash, he did try to do a lot more. Within this, he's kind of tried to escape, mainly because of other things he focused on, like Patty, focused on Earth 2, getting Jesse back. But now that those things are done, now he can really, I think, start making, going towards it and start conquering the enemy and things like that. So he realizes he needs to do that. Back at home, Wally's confused as to why the family took all that crazy in stride. He also attacks a bit. Oh, I just read this. So basically, Cisco gets a read on King Shark attacking the Flash-shaped bait on their beacon, which Argus uses to try and lure him in, and when it doesn't work, Flash sends Caitlin away so he and Argus can fight King Shark on their own. King Shark tells him that he's going to kill the Flash, and that'll kill the Argus agents, but the Flash lures him away by running across the water, and then when King Shark is out at sea, electrifying the water by running around King Shark in circles. Trapped in a vortex of lightning, King Shark finally passes out when Barry throws a ball of lightning directly at him, then runs back to shore, and on the docks, Lyla says she plans to try and cure King Shark rather than weaponizing him in the Suicide Squad, kind of referencing the Suicide Squad, is going to be coming up. That has nothing to do with the Suicide Squad movie. I did hear they're going in a completely different direction. Caitlin suggests she gives Natalis a call, and after the ladies leave, Diggle gives the Flash a pep talk about dealing with his grief over lost brothers in arms, and I like the scene. He talks about PTSD and how he thought his brother was dead and everything, but for me, there wasn't enough of this. I mean, Diggle was kind of wasted here. We had some good scenes with Diggle and Lyla here and there, but really at the end of the day, Diggle and Lyla couldn't have, wouldn't have been this episode, and it really wouldn't have made a difference. I don't really know why they were here. To me, it just seemed like, oh, let's just get our ratings up, so we'll put Diggle and Lyla in. Now, Diggle works very well with Barry. I definitely will say that. I just don't really know if this was the episode to do it with. Just like All-Star Team Up. All-Star Team Up, looking back, was not that great of an episode because it really wasn't the time to do a crossover. And I don't really know if there was a time to do it here either. Now, granted, this was a mini crossover, and yes, the Felicity episode of season 1 worked very well, but that's because it integrated so well into the main storyline. There just weren't enough scenes of Diggle and Barry interacting that I can really say this was satisfying, because it really wasn't. I don't really think Diggle was used that much. He was using, like, what, 4 scenes? Really not that much of the episode at all, and I understand there's more going on, but because there's so much going on, this really was not the time to do this, I have to say. So later jitters, Wally lets Joe look at his proposal for the turbine card. Joe's hugely impressed, but Wally admits Barry gave him a lot of help. Joe tells him it's still his idea. Barry would say the same thing. He tells a frustrated Wally he's always been overprotective of Barry to help him get through the tragedy of his mother's murder, and that the reason they're so proud of him is that it could have gone differently. He tells him not to compare himself to Barry, that they're both his sons, and it's just stupid, honestly. I don't like that Wally is comparing himself to Barry. I understand that, but to me, it's just Wally's getting in his face. They could have handled this a lot better. They could have made Wally a lot less whiny and a lot more subtle, and I would have been fine with that. It's just the way that they're going about this I'm not a fan of, and that's why this isn't working for me as well as it should. It should, but it's just not working as well as it should. So, unfortunately, yeah, that's not working. I gotta say. And there's really nothing they can do with this character until he works with the Flash to get me to enjoy him. Because every time Wally comes on, this scene came on, I walked out of the room. I was eating a piece of cake, guys. I'm not lying to you. I had a piece of cake sitting on this desk. And I had the option to either wait till the commercials came on or just walk up in the middle of the scene and put it in the sink. So I waited, and I'm like, oh, Wally scene. I literally got up, put that cake in the sink, and then walk back. And I know you guys don't care about this, but I'm just saying that's how much I don't care about what's going on with Wally. I get bored, I shut down, just Wally West scenes come on, I'm just like, just move on, because it's just, they're not doing anything better. And you would think at this point they're trying to do something better with his character. And they kind of are, in the sense that they're trying to show his motivation, but the actor just comes across as so whiny and so immature that I just can't get into this character. And as much as they want me to love Wally, I can't. I can't love Wally. I don't like what he's doing, and it's just not working for me. Just whatever reason, it's not working, and it really takes me out of the episode, I have to say. That's really the reason why this second half of the season, for me, has been as weak as it is. That's why Earth 2 was so great, because Wally was barely in that, and before Wally, the season was pretty great. Wally was introduced, I'm just not a huge fan, I have to say. So at Star Labs, Caitlin puts her cold hands on Cisco, taunting him with the specter of Killer Frost, but then we realize that she's just playing around. She asks him to stop worrying about her, that Killer Frost will never exist on this Earth. I'm not so sure, though. We know that when Barry went in time, he saw Killer Frost. So, is that an alternate? Was that a supposed show Earth 2? Is she actually going to become Killer Frost? I mean, it would make sense if she did, definitely, especially after this twist. I think it would make sense, but is Caitlyn actually sincere? Will she actually become Killer Frost? Do you think that could actually happen to her? I mean, I don't really think this Caitlyn could become Killer Frost, but there's a part of me that feels like, you know what, maybe she could. Honestly, I think it would make sense why that could happen, but we'll have to see. They all go to the Cortex to see Barry, who apologizes to them for the consequence of his choice to travel in time last year, and he tells them that he knows Zoom and Jay's deaths are because of him, but that he is determined that Team Flash will be the ones to stop Zoom. He says the breaches aren't closed forever, and they aren't done with Earth 2. He unveils a trophy case where Jay's helmet is mounted, they saying that his sacrifice won't have been in vain, that the next time he meets Zoom, he'll be a Tim, and then we get to what you guys want me to talk about. So, we haven't had a post-credit scene in a while. We really haven't. I mean, there have been most episodes I'm like, give me that scene, and there hasn't been one. So, I didn't really think we were going to get one here. But now is the perfect time to do it. We see on Earth 2, Zoom takes Jay's body, drops it on the ground before the man in the helmet, and who's visibly shaken, we see. He's not happy. I mean, we see that Zoom he's visibly shaken about this. He can't believe that he did this. And I thought that we were going to find out who the other man in the cell was. That's what I thought we were going to see here. But that's not what we see. Zoom removes his mask, and it's Jay. What? It's Jay, and he says it's complicated, which, yeah, it is complicated. How is this Jay? Now, some people have said it's the Earth 1 version of Jay, but that doesn't make sense because we know that Zoom came from Earth 2. So, who was the doppelganger? That's what I want to know. How did Jay make a clone of himself, because if he killed the other Jay, I mean, this isn't really making sense to me at all here. I mean, if it's Jay, then who have Barry and the others been talking to all this time? And I mean, it sucks because they were horribly betrayed and that, he completely fooled them. But who has that been? Who has been posing, who has been, pretending to be Jay? Who is he hired to do that? I don't really know. And we are going to find out who the man in the other cell is. We're definitely going to find out who that is. The one that was giving them colds last week. That's very important. But I don't get this at all. I don't understand this. And like, Wells, I kind of did, as to like, okay, that kind of makes sense. But this is literally like a head scratcher. I have no idea how to explain this, guys. This really makes no sense. And I'm sure they're going to have it make sense. And they said that it's even bigger than what they did with Wells, which I don't see how you can top that at this point. Actually, no, like in a month from now, like at this point, the other hiatus of the show will be going on. That's when we really got the reveal, and I'm sure that we are going to find out what's going on with Jay. But right now, I'm shocked that they did this. I can't believe that Jay is, Zoom, and God damn it, Caitlyn, seriously. I feel so bad for her. I mean, she picks the worst guys, I have to say. Ronnie's a good guy, it's just he died, and she always picks people that just either they die, they betray her. I mean, she does not do a good job with picking boyfriends. Just pick someone normal, seriously. Pick someone normal. Go with Cisco for all I care. I mean, seriously. Just pick someone normal, because this is not working for you. But in all seriousness, guys, really good reveal. Honestly, very good reveal. I did not see that coming at all. I thought that it was for sure going to be Eddie. That's who I thought was going to be. Thank God it wasn't Wally West. If that was Wally West, I would have been like, oh, that's why he's such a dick. Like, that would have made sense to me. This is good because it leaves me wondering. It leaves me open to question things. It's not so easily solved, and that's something I like The Flash does. When they, give you a twist, there's still questions. You're like, well, how can that be? And what about this? And what about this? And they're going to explain those things. The creator said that these things will be answered after the hiatus. But now is the perfect time of the show to go on hiatus. One, because My School Musical is coming up, and I won't have as many TV shows to watch that week, because you guys are going to see fucking nothing in terms of reviews. And I'm going to tell you that right now. There's going to be an announcement video coming on that very soon. But two, also because of the fact that now we have a lot left to question, and we have a lot left to think about, for a couple weeks. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with taking a break. I'm fine with that. And also because this episode, like I said, wasn't that great. I mean, really. I mean, the Diggle was kind of wasted here. Lyla was kind of wasted. And like I said, they really didn't need to be here. I didn't really feel like they needed to be in this episode. King Shark, this didn't even need to happen. The entire episode should have just been the aftermath of Earth 2. I would have been completely fine with that. Let's talk about Caitlyn, because is Caitlyn sincere what she's saying to Cisco? I want to hope that she's not going to turn to Killer Frost, but there's a part of me that thinks maybe she will. I mean, just think about the way that, what happened to Caitlyn now. When she finds out, how's she going to deal with this? We'll have to see what's going on there. When Barry and the team find out that Jay is, in fact, that Jay is in fact Zoom, I don't understand it. Is it his counterpart from Earth 1? I'm trying to make sense of it, and it really is a head scratcher, guys. I haven't been this confused by The Flash in a while, but this really is like, I don't get it. I really don't. And then Jessie, I like seeing this character, Jessie. I like seeing what she's going through, but god damn it, just make Wally West less annoying, seriously. That's all they need to do. They just need to trim a few things with his character, maybe change some of the deliveries, because everything that Wally West says is either arrogant, annoying, or just plain old just stop. Just, when Wally West comes on, I'm just like, stop, please. I want to see interesting stuff. Just go away, because his plot is not interesting me. And then let's talk about the dynamic between not Jay, Barry, Iris, and Wells, and Joe, because things are clearly going to be different here. Iris, I definitely think, is going to think of, are Barry and I going to get married? Do we have a future together? Things like that. Because Iris hasn't had a love interest in a while. I definitely think they're going to move forward with maybe Barry and Iris, getting them together, possibly. We'll have to see what's going on there. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys saw this episode. Like I said, an okay episode, but an awesome reveal that I cannot wait to see how it plays out for the rest of the season. And I will see you guys in my next video, which, guys, I know this video was late. I was having camera problems before, okay? Just weird stuff going on, and my camera wasn't turning. Well, my camera was turning on, but the screen was black, and obviously you guys don't want to see black in my video, so, that was an issue as well. But my next review will be for tonight's episode of American Crime Story, People vs. O.J. Simpson, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.